All right, welcome, and we are live here today. And the Browns, turn that light on right there. It's flickering a little bit, but we got it. And the Browns shocked the world, shocked the city of Cleveland. And this was a bounce back, but the Browns do win 13-10. And just for that, let me get a two barks. Actually, forget that. Let me get a three bark and a dog check. That was four. And dog check. Because the Browns, oh, those Cleveland Browns, they were able to pull off the win and get the W down 10-0, able to make a comeback, able to win. And this is what the Browns were all about. That defense did what it was supposed to do. The offense did just what it was supposed to do, and special teams came into play. And therefore, the Cleveland Browns are now 1-2. If you remember the live stream from last week, I was not confident about this game. But as the week progressed, going on All Grind, talking to my friend Marv, and doing the rankings and predictions with Dre, my mind started to change, and I'm like, the Browns could probably do this. I think they can pull this off, and they pull it off. And first off, just want to say to everybody, welcome to From the Nosebleeds. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. This is our third uh post game review. I go by my actual name, Tyrell, and for my tens of fans in the nosebleed section, well, if this is your first time here, welcome. If this is your first time, if you're coming back, well, so the Browns get the job done, get the win, and for that, like I said, forget it. Let's do three more barks and a dog check, because the Browns, man, oh man, it's better when the Browns win, right? And then my Fighting Irish win on Saturday. So it is a good weekend. Last weekend was depressing for me, but this is a good weekend. And what a way to kick off the week with the Browns win. So we're going to talk about the positives today. We're going to talk about the negatives, because there are some negatives and there are some things that the Browns got to sort out. We're going to look at Kevin Stefanski's victory speech in the locker room. We're also going to look at Kevin Stefanski's post game conference, go over the review, go over the scores throughout the entire week so far, and just NFL talk in general, because this was a fun and exciting week. And I'm not just saying that because the Browns won, right? But there is a little bit of optimism, and I want to address this before we continue before we even go on to the game, right? Because this is gonna be a good episode. I got my water here, I got my hot tea here, got the Broncos and Chargers on in the background. So here's what we're gonna address, right? And I'm guilty of this. I think a lot of fans are guilty of this. We are so gun ho um when it comes to things, right? Both positive and negatively, right? As fans. And week one, this entire city wanted Schmidt gone. They want him cut. They didn't want him in the locker room. They didn't want him, on the team bus. They did not want anything to do. And I was one of them. Okay. I will be the first one to admit I was one of them to say Schmidt has to go, because Schmidt had played like Schmidt, right? Cost us 4 points in that first game. This team could be 2-1 for real, for real. But Schmidt showed up to the plate today when it mattered the most, hit a key extra point, hit the game-winning 55-yard field goal. He made the plays, and he did what he was supposed to do. And if you think about it, Schmidt gave us those 4 points back this week, all right? So, kudos to the Browns coaching staff. Kudos to Stefanski. Kudos to Andrew Berry for not bringing in another kicker, going against what the city wanted 2 weeks ago. Even some people wanted last week, even though Schmidt didn't really contribute that much as far as costing us the game because we got blown out. But kudos to them for keeping their heads level and sticking with him and not ruining his confidence and trusting in him. And you need that from your coaches, right? You kind of need that from your organization, not to listen to the fans and everything like that. You see what happens when you get gun ho, right? Sometimes it's not good, right? And like I said, I will admit that I have that problem too when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, and again, I had that last week. But Schmidt, I think he just not only just shut everybody up, but he also put this game in this city on his back. Because can you imagine the Browns with all that happened with the interception by Grant Delpit, the block field goal for him to miss it, and then we lose in overtime, that would have stated the morale of the city would have been devastated. But nonetheless, we ain't gonna talk about that. We can talk about a Browns win over the Green Bay Packers, who were number one on my power rankings the last 2 weeks. So there's definitely going to be some shuffling in the top three in my power rankings for sure. And let's do this before we continue on to go towards the game. Let's go around to the scores around the entire league. Let's start off with the games that's going on right now. The Denver Broncos are up by 7 against the Los Angeles Chargers, 20-13. It sounds like a home game for the Denver Broncos. The New Orleans Saints are down 13-44 to the Seattle Seahawks. San Francisco taking care of business so far, up by 7 against the Arizona Cardinals, 13-10. The Dallas Cowboys trailing against the Chicago Bears 31-14. What a bounce back week for the Chicago Bears so far. Finished game so far. Indianapolis beat the Tennessee Titans 41-20. Indiana, Jones, man, he's proving everybody wrong, and the questions at the loom. Was it Brian Dable? Was it Joe Judge? Was it the entire Giants organization not giving the best tools for Daniel Jones? We have to start to question that. It's 3 weeks in. He's playing good ball. They're winning. Say what you want to say. Oh, it was against the Titans. They still doing what they're supposed to do. The Pittsburgh Steelers eke out a win against the New England Patriots, 21-14. Aaron Rodgers threw his 509th career touchdown pass, which surpassed Brett Favre for the fourth most in NFL history. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers staved off a would-be attempted comeback by the New York Jets with a game-winning field goal. They won 29-27. The Commanders took care of business against the Raiders, 41-24. The Eagles had their own comeback, winning 33-26. They were down 26-7 at one point. The Minnesota Vikings put BTA belt to ass on the Jake Browning-led Cincinnati Bengals, 48-10. Jacksonville Jaguars snapped a 7-game losing streak when hosting Houston by beating them 17-10. The Houston Texans 0-3 is a surprising factor so far in this season. And as we know about what happened on Thursday night, the Buffalo Bills took care of business against the Miami Dolphins 21-31. It is raining outside and I have my window open if you guys can hear that. So now let's get into the game, right? Let me go ahead and take my sip of water. Let's get into this game. Because this was a up and down game, right? This is really a up and down third, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3 of the game, whatever you want to call it, because there was a lot of emotion behind this, and there's a lot of coaching decisions that should still be into question and how this game could have played out if this didn't go this way or whatever it may be. But let me get this. All right. So let's talk about it, right? First quarter, really the first 3 quarters, this offense was once again stagnant. The one key note that I made right off the bat was, I think it was a Browns second drive. It's a 3rd and 7. Why are we not passing the ball there, right? The blocking was continuing to be a problem. There were times where Joe Flacco had under 3 seconds to drop back and make a pass, right? And I know Flacco was like 21-36 or something like that for a $142. But there's not a lot you can do when you're rushed on your throws. It's not a lot that you can do when every time you drop back, there's somebody in your face. Pause. There's not a lot that you can do in general. So the offensive line is still an issue at the end of the day. The one thing I will say is that Quinshon Judkins, right? I was wrong about him. I'll be the first to admit it. I believe that I was completely wrong. I wanted Henderson over Judkins, and it is showing that Judkins is the better player. I was very tepid about Judkins. I thought Henderson was the better runner, all that, but that's not the case, right? Because despite the fact that there wasn't a lot of running lanes, which is an issue, right? It's been my number one gripe with this team since the very beginning, is that we have issues creating running lanes consistently. We have issues with our pass blocking. We have issues. Quinshon finds ways to make the smallest running lanes into big plays. And that is what you need out of your running back in a time where the offensive line isn't the best, right? Did the offensive line play better in general? Yes. The offensive line actually got better as the game progressed. Joe Flacco was able to get more time as the game as the game progressed. Judkins was able to find running lanes, even if it was the smallest running lanes, and just like Judkins' running vision is superb, and it's something that I, I must admit, like I didn't really see a lot of that in Ohio State. Maybe because Ohio State has such a great offensive line. They have ways to open up running lanes and where it looks like the Red Sea, right? So you don't get to see a lot of the vision because it's already there. But on that 38-yard run in the fourth quarter by Judkins, there was like this window that was just like this big, this running lane that is just this big. And Judkins just ran through it like it was wide open. He hit it with explosion. He hit it with burst. He hit it hard. Pause. And Judkins made a play that I don't think a lot of running backs in this league, especially not on this team. There's nothing against Dylan Sampson. We haven't seen a lot of Sampson yet outside of his pass catching. And Jerome Ford definitely doesn't make a run like that because there wasn't a lot of room right there for Judkins to make a 38-yard run. I was like, okay, he gets like 3 or 4. He made a 38-yard run on this window. And I was like, man, that right there was one of, actually, I would say the best run over the last 2 years. Over the last 2 years. I know I said that last week when he had that 31-yard run, but I put an asterisk on it because of the simple fact it was garbage time. This was when the game was on the line. And he made a run like that when there wasn't a lot of room to make that run. So kudos to him for that. Penalties continue to be a problem for the Browns. And we're going to talk about that in the negative parts, right? But penalties were killing the Browns a lot, in this game. We'll get a good play, get a 15-yard play, holding call, get a 15-yard play, offensive pass interference. So there were problems with that. There continues to be a discipline problem with the Cleveland Browns. First point what happened in the second quarter, at the very beginning of the second quarter. McManus hit a 39-yard field goal, made it 3-0, 13-play drive. Then Flacco got sacked by Rashawn Gray. And let me give the offensive line credit for this too. Micah Parsons was essentially like, I wouldn't say a non-factor, but he wasn't as big as of a factor that he could have been. And the Browns offensive line and really the offensive game plan, you can kind of see, was to limit the impact that Micah Parsons had on the game in both the run game and the passing game, right? And yes, did the Packers get good pressure? Yes, I think Parsons only had like 3 pressures today. He didn't really get back there. He really didn't, wasn't that destroyer of the offensive line that you expect Micah Parsons to be. So kudos to the Browns for that as well. But Rashawn Gray was a problem for our offensive line. The one drive where I want to say this is the one drive where I'm trying to think did I don't think Green Bay ended up scoring on that drive because they scored in the third quarter. Yeah. So the one drive where Carson, I don't know. I can say it in private, but I can't say it on this live stream. His last name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Carson made a great sack on Jordan Love, and it got like called back because we were too late to substitutions. And like we got to be quicker at what we're trying to do on substitutions, what we're trying to do on defense. I know that's like something that's rare for the Browns, but still, it's just like one of those things. We should have kept our personnel out there. And they were able to like drive down the field a little bit because they was able to get like another third down because Myles Garrett had his one per game. You watched the live stream last week. You know what one per game I'm talking about? The offsides penalty that Myles Garrett loves to get one per game. It happened on the third down. Jordan Love. I'm looking at a different name. Jordan Love made a scramble to the outside, got the first down. But give the Browns credit. Alex Wright came in there with a sack on third down. Then he went down again on the third down. Garrett and Huntington was able to bring down Myles Garrett, so bring down Jordan Love. So again, the Browns front seven continues to penetrate the other team's offensive line. They continue to make pressure to clog up running lanes. Josh Jacobs wasn't that effective. Again, these are like some good running backs, right? Derrick Henry is one of the best running backs in the league. Josh Jacobs is considered a top 15 running back, right? Chase Brown is considered an up-and-coming running back, and we're holding these guys. This defense is generational. If our offense can catch up, this is a good team, right? It's a good team. It's just our offense, and I think still our coaching is a problem. But this is a good team. Like this is a great defense. This defense is again generational. Like it's 3 weeks in, and we're seeing how great this defense is. Right, able to get sacks, able to throw Jordan Love off, able to throw Lamar Jackson off. When they was able to get pressure on him, able to do the same thing with Joe Burrow. Like the two quarterback, I don't even think Jordan Love got 200 yards today, right? So these two, the like 2 out of 3 quarterbacks we played this year, right, have thrown for under 200 yards. Every single running back that we played against has rushed for under 45 yards, right? Brown had 43, Henry had 23, Josh Jacobs had 30 today. This defense is generational. It really, really is. The problem that this defense faces, and it definitely showed a little bit in the third quarter, is they're on the field too much because we keep getting 3 and outs, or we keep getting a first down, then it's like it just crumbles, right? We get one first down, then it crumbles. So we have issues, right, on our offensive side that's making our defense work a little harder, but they're not complaining about it, right? And they're going out there and busting their ass and doing their jobs. They're doing their jobs. Let's forget about let's real quick forget about the Ravens game, right? Because a lot of Ravens points came in off of turnovers and special teams. And that's how the Ravens were able to get 41 points. You got to remember, going into that fourth quarter, the Ravens only scored 20. Okay. But they've held the Bengals to 17 points. They've held the Packers to 10. These are considered 2 very good offenses. According to the national media, according to the NFL discourse, is that the Bengals, outside of their offensive line, is a good offensive football team, and the Packers is a good offensive team. The Packers is a good all-around team, right? They were number 1 on this channel's power rankings. And the Browns defense finds ways to execute, to perform, to deliver on stopping these like prolific offenses. There is no doubt, there's no question in my mind that the Cleveland Browns defense is a part of the Browns defense is not a part of the problem whatsoever. Jim Schwartz, not a problem whatsoever. We had the hiccup with Myles Garrett get his 1 per game. Yes, we have an issue with some of the things like pass interference or defensive holding, right? Yes, we have some of these discipline issues, but it's usually cleaned up within a matter of plays. Usually the defense makes it up, right? So that's what we're dealing with the Cleveland Browns defense. That is exactly what we're dealing with. I don't have to worry about the Cleveland Browns defense performing or stepping up to the plate, despite the fact that the Packers was able to drive down in the field goal range. I thought the Packers just had better execution on that last drive. But I don't have to overall worry about the Cleveland Browns defense. It's not the defense. It's this offense that's the problem, right? But this offense did something that we've been asking for over since this season started. Really, we can kind of date back a little bit to last year, right? And that was, can y'all do something? Can y'all do something to help this defense out? And that's exactly what they did today. Jerry Jeudy made a good catch on third down within the 2 minutes. We were starting to drive down the field, penalty on a hold. I saw it. I was like, that's not a holding call. That was stupid. I did not agree with going forward on the 4th and 8. You were in field goal range. You were down 3-0. I was like, dude, let's kick the field goal. What is there to lose, right? Like I think it was like 12 seconds left on the clock or something like that. I'm like, dude, just kick the field goal. They miss it, play prevent defense if they try to take a shot down the field. But it was only 3-0, right? It was only 3-0 going into halftime. The thing is that for three quarters, even when the Packers went up 10-0, there was a part of me that felt like the game was already done. Despite the fact that we're down 3-0, despite the fact that we're down 10-0, it was just because how the offense was performing, in the first 3 quarters. It was like, man, this is crazy. But my friend turned to me and was like, we're gonna win this game, right? And I was like, man, I don't know. I had that doubt, but I'm like, I don't know. But I was like, you know what? I'm with you. Because it's crazy because you're the second friend that told me that the Browns are gonna beat the Packers. We had a 3 and out. The Packers had a 3 and out. To me, we got to limit rollouts. I know the rollouts is to buy Flacco time. I know the rollouts is to help Flacco out with getting the ball out. But Flacco's 40. He don't have the legs no more. He just does. He may show a flash here and there, but he doesn't have the legs. Okay, that's my neighbors talking. I was like, man, I was like, I know I turned my TV down, but nonetheless, right? The Packers, not Packers. Neighbors threw me off a little bit. Flacco doesn't have his legs anymore, so he's like, if you do a play action, okay, that's one thing, right? But we're doing like these play action rollouts. Like that's good for Shador. That's good for Dylan Gabriel. The young quarterbacks that got their legs under them that can buy time. And if they need to make it into a run play, they can go ahead and do that. They need to scramble for it. Flacco got sacked by Rashawn Gray again on a third down. This was the Browns' first drive of the second half. A lot of people have been clamoring throughout this week, should we start Dylan Gabriel? With outside the fourth quarter, right? Putting any quarterback behind this offensive line is bad. It's just bad. Despite the rollouts, despite, Dylan Gabriel or Shador having the legs, right? It's just a bad thing to do. Like, you're going to get your quarterbacks killed. Like I said, there were a lot of times, especially in that first half, not so much in the second half, but especially in that first half where Flacco had less than 3 seconds to throw the ball. Flacco had less than 3 seconds to throw the ball. So imagine what a rookie has to deal with having less than 3 seconds or 3 seconds to throw the ball. So I don't believe starting Gabriel right now, but if you're planning on starting one of your quarterbacks, one of your rookie quarterbacks, or if both of them at some point in the season, make a trade, because Dawand Jones is not it. Like, he's a good player. He's not extremely talented. Like, he's not like a world beater offensive tackle, but he's a good player. It's just he's not available. He went out in the first quarter. So it's like when you got a player that's good but not available, he's just taking up a roster spot. And I hope that he feels better. I hope that he gets well. I know it was a knee injury. I don't know the severity of it yet, but we're hoping that this starts to pick up, right? Because the Browns are high on him. I have to say I'm high on him when he's actually at his best, and when he's actually playing at his absolute best. He's a extremely good tackle. He can play both sides, right? It's just they're relying on him to be our blindside blocker, and he's not even there. Didn't he get hurt against the Ravens? He got hurt against the Bengals. This is third game in a row where he leaving the game at some point because of some injury. So there has to be an issue addressed on our blind side, right? Because Batonio's probably going to retire this year. Dawand is too injured, too hurt. So we have to address this at some point, because Dylan Gabriel is going to get killed with this offensive line. Shador Sanders is going to get killed with this offensive line, right? We're not the Cincinnati Bengals bad, but we ain't that far off neither. For people who think for people that think that we're not far off, I mean, people think we're far off from the Bengals. I got news for you. We are not that far from the Bengals from an offensive line standpoint. The Packers on their next drive ran a 31-yard screen to Aaron Jones. I can tell like the Packers started doing short, immediate routes on their passing plays, so they started to adjust to the Browns bringing in pressure. Packers were starting to move the ball. Defense was. This is where I'm like, okay, the defense is kind of tired, because the tackles that this defense usually makes, Denzel Ward or Carson or Devin Bush, like these were tackles where I'm like, okay, this is like something they usually make. They weren't making the tackles because they were just so gassed and so tired out. Then Jordan Love hit John Fitzpatrick on a 4-yard run. On a 4-yard touchdown pass, made it 10-0. That was a 15-play, 7-minute and 41-second drive. So when you dealing with the Browns getting a 3 and out, right, or getting a first down and then or a 5-play drive, right, and then the Packers proceed to run a 15-play drive and chew off 8 minutes off the clock. Again, there's not a lot that I expect from the defense. Flacco overthrew Isaiah Bond. It was a good route by Isaiah Bond. I know why Flacco made that throw. It made sense for Flacco made that throw. He just sailed it over a little bit too high, but it was a good throw, right? He had the safety coming in up top. He had the corner underneath. He made the right throw. It was just bad execution on that throw. I think our punter had like Borgensen, or whoever you pronounce his name. He had like 2 or 3 touchbacks in this game. We got to clean that up a little bit because that's field of possession right there. Then we got an unnecessary roughness on top of that touchback, so it ended up getting 15 yards. But this defense continues to do what it's supposed to do. And there were times where this defense were losing its intensity because of how much they were on the field. They were losing that 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 power, right? That will. And not in the sense that they were weak and down and out. It's just that you're tired. You're tired. But this is to me one of the key plays of the game is when the quarter closes, right? And there was that debate on the broadcast that the Packers get the ball off in time before the time expired. But the referee said they did, and they went ahead and ran it. And Jordan Love rolls back. He keeps going back, and Carson Swayzinger gets the sack. Boom, 13-yard loss. And this, to me, is where everything changed, right? Because the Browns go down, right? And this another thing I didn't like from Stefanski, right? It's 31. Yes. Do they know that Judkins is going to get the ball? Yes. Do you just go ahead and give Judkins the ball? Yes. One of my gripes with Stefanski is sometimes he tries to be the guy that is smarter than everybody else in the room, right? Like, oh, well, they expect me to do this, where I'm going to do this. Well, you called a run play on 3rd and 7 and earlier in the game. So why not just do it here? You do a pass play. You do get the 4th down. Like, doing what you should have did on 3rd down, you got the 4th down. Okay. But you shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place, because you could have just, I don't know, ran with Judkins like you did on 4th down. Tillman made a good catch, but it got called back for offensive pass interference. It was obvious. It's just, like I said, it was just something that discipline, right? We know that the whole pushing off thing, unless you do it real good, where you do it with your inside hand, where the referee can't see it, you're gonna get called doing that every single time. Then it was like a couple plays later, we got a catch to Fanning. Packers jumped off sides. So Stefanski takes a penalty and then pretty much runs the same play, but with Jerome Ford. And I'm like, dude, if you're gonna take the penalty, just go ahead. And so there's a lot of questions behind this, right? A lot of questions behind this. Then Jordan Love made a pass to Matt Golden for 34 yards on a 3rd down. And that play happened while I think the Packers on the 4-yard line or something like that. But again, the Browns defense stifled. It was like, okay, we're waking up. We got this. Then this is where Judkins step up. 14-yard run by Judkins. They 38-yard run by Judkins. This is the play I was talking about earlier, where it was like the window was like this. It's like this. And he found a way through. So Judkins found a small hole found a small lane to get 38 yards. To me, I wrote in my notes about time this offense woke up. Then the Green Bay Packers on a 3rd and 9 gets a defensive holding. I think that was Tillman who was making that route. Defensive holding. It could have been called. It could have not been called, but it was called nonetheless, right? It was called nonetheless. Then it was a defensive pass interference, right? Puts us down at the 1-yard line. I'm like, yes, the Packers are starting to become undisciplined. They starting to hold on. They're trying to hold on. Then the chop block by Wyatt Teller, and it's like, dude, like this is like the Wyatt Teller chop block is a prime example of what I'm talking about the Browns the Browns love to shoot themselves in the foot. Thing is that Green Bay was starting to shoot themselves in the foot too. It kind of reminded me of that first drive back in week 1 against the Bengals on that scoring touchdown drive, where we made a lot of plays, but the Bengals were like being so inconsistent and so undisciplined that it got us a touchdown. This kind of like that drive reminded me of it, into the Wyatt Teller chop block, but we got 3 points out of it. Schmidt hit a 34-yard field goal. We had our own 15-play-yard drive, 5 minutes and 41 seconds taken off that clock, 10-3. On the 3rd down, right? 3rd down, next drive, Grant Delpit with the interception of the year for the Cleveland Browns so far. The first turnover the Browns have produced this season. Delpit runs it back all the way to the goal line. We capitalize off of that because the Packers, again, lacking discipline themselves. Judkins with a 1-yard run. Touchdown, 2-play drive. Bam, 10-10. And I was sitting there the whole time thinking this game was over because of how offense is playing. But boy, did we fight today. In those alpha dog uniforms, the Browns fought today. They fought. Despite the fact that Harden got the pass interference play called on the next play. Kraft got the 8. Jones fumbled, but he was able to recover at the video review. It was very 50-50 on that, right? Sets up McManus perfect. They ran the clock out. 27 seconds left. And I'm like, man, in my head, I'm just like, and I was saying this out loud, I was like, shank it. Like, come on, shank it. Got even better. Block punts. And it looked like Denzel Ward got like his pinky on it, which caused somebody else to like change like the height of the ball. And that helped us out. And I think it was either Newsome or Delpit that recovered the ball. And gut call by Stefanski. Now, this one I give him credit because it worked out. Gutsy called to throw it in the middle of the field to Njoku to get us in field goal range. And have enough time to, and Njoku was able to run to the middle. He had enough time to run to the middle, get down, gave the ball to the referee so he can spot it. Spike the ball, 2 seconds left. And Schmidt becomes the hero. Schmidt gave us our 4 points back from week 1. Schmidt, who this entire city, including myself, wanted off this team after the Bengals game. 55-yard field goal. That man ain't got to worry about buying beer for the rest of the week. Browns down 10-0. Offense stagnant the first 3 quarters. Defense doing what it normally does the entire game. And the offense did just enough. The special teams, what have we talked about on this channel? It's our off and our special teams. It's not the defense. And the defense did what it was supposed to do, and it was our offense and our special teams that came together with our defense to win this game. It was our special teams, whether it was Schmidt hitting field goals or Schmidt hitting extra points, the block field goal. Our special teams showed up in the fourth quarter. Our offense showed up in the fourth quarter. Judkins showed up in the fourth quarter. And the Browns, now 1-2. I was afraid that this team was going to go 0-5. I said 0-5, 1-4 at best, right? I think y'all remember me saying that. And I might still feel that way a little bit, but just for today, just for tonight, just for this live feed only, how about we feel good and say, Browns win, Browns win, Browns win. 2 barks, dog check, and the Browns shocked the world and beat the Green Bay Packers, which was on this channel, the number 1 team in the league, which for a lot of people was a top 5 team. The Browns were usually in the bottom 5 in the power rankings, definitely bottom 10. And the Browns pull off the upset. They pull off the 10-point comeback upset. One of what, 3 or 4 comebacks this game for this week. So let's go over the positive. To me, obviously, it's the defense. Special teams, Quinshon Judkins, positives. Jerry Jeudy made some good plays to help us out. Cedric Tillman was productive. I think 2 of those pass interference calls or defensive holding calls were targeted towards him. He did have the offensive pass interference. Negatives. There's not a lot of games that we can win like that, though, where we start slow for 3 quarters. It's not a lot of games you can win like that. This was an anomaly for sure. Offense needs to consistently move the ball and score. The offense know how to move the ball a little bit. The yards back it up. But we don't know how to score. We don't know how to move the ball more efficiently and consistently. For me to say, hey, this offensive thing. If you were to look at the Browns stat sheet, you would go, man, they can move the ball. But then look at how many points they're scoring, right? Yes, we won 13-10, but we still can't score over 20 points, man. But we won 13-10. Today is a win. It was an ugly win, but it was a win. The positives, again, defense, special teams, run game, and the will and fight of this entire team. They did not give up in this game. That is a huge positive. My 3 stars for today. The top performers of today. 3 stars, top performers. And there's actually 4, but I'll lump 2 together. The front 7. I think that the Cleveland Browns have a top 10 front 7 in this league. Mason Graham is going to be a stud. We don't even have Michael Hall here, right? Alex Wright made plays. Myles Garrett did his thing. Huntington did his thing. Isaiah plugging up running lanes. This front 7 is one of the best front 7s in the league. Number 2, this is where I lump number 2 and 2 together for 2 players. Grant Delpit with the key interception. Judkins fourth quarter. Judkins in this entire game, even when it wasn't open, he found lanes to get 3 yards. Judkins is a stud. And number 1, Andre Schmidt. Who would have thought I'd be saying that 2 weeks after the Cincinnati debacle? Schmidt, 55 yards. Schmidt, 34-yard field goal. Schmidt hits the extra point. Did I tell y'all it was raining outside? Because it was raining outside. And it was raining comebacks outside. Pause. But the Cleveland Browns found a way to win this game. They found a way to win this game. And for that, celebrate good times. Come on. Come on. So, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Well, 60 minutes is on. So, that means the game is over. So, let's go over the games. Let's go over the stat line first for the Cleveland Browns and the Green Bay Packers, and we'll go and finish the afternoon games, right? Joe Flacco, 21-36, 142. No touchdowns. He had that arm punt interception at the end of the first half. Quinshon Judkins, 18 carries, 94 yards. Averaged 5.2 yards on the run. That 38-yard run helped him out a lot. And he also got the receiving touchdown as well. And Njoku, 5 catches, 40 yards. Tillman, 3 catches, 26 yards. Off of 3 targets. Jerry Jeudy, 1 catch, 17 yards off of 5 targets. And that's another negative we can talk about too. We don't have a number 1. We don't have a number 1 wide receiver. Not only do you want to stick Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur behind this offensive line, we don't even have a number 1 for him. Our tight ends, and there's nothing wrong with this, right? Our tight ends, our running backs. Our tight ends are running backs. That's it. Jerry Jeudy is not a number 1. Cedric Tillman is not a number 1 or a number 2 for that matter. Isaiah Bond, there's something there. He's not getting a lot of opportunities. And the one route he ran, the corner route that he ran, where he was in between the safety and the corner, that was an amazing route. The ball just oversailed. And Bond got some height, got some hops. Bond got some hops because he got up there and tried to get that ball. And he actually got his hands on it. I was kind of surprised. I'm like, geez, bro, I didn't realize your vertical was like that. Let's get out of here. But the Browns don't have a number 1. So if you're the Browns and you're thinking about buying, right? And to me, I said this last week, the Browns actually need to sell. I still believe that despite the win. But you don't have a number 1. You don't have a guy that can go in there and change the game, right? Like Fannon's going to become that guy at the tight end position, right? But you need that wide receiver. You need that X that teams are going to double and make sure he don't get the ball and he can still get it, right? There's a good amount of teams that have that. Cincinnati has Jamar Chase. Justin Jefferson for the Minnesota Vikings, and Jigba for this Seahawks, right? Those are just prime examples. Drake London is slowly becoming that for Atlanta. No, they didn't have a good game down there, but the Browns don't have that. And I don't know. There's a lot of guys on the market that can do that. Unfortunately for the Browns as well, is that there are too many problems on this team where you can't address the wide receiver issue right away. You just can't. Like, you have to address this offensive line first, especially with Batonio's more than likely to retire. Judkins is more than not Judkins, excuse me. Taylor's probably gone. DeJuan Jones is like not there. Cornelius Lucas is 34 years old. So there's issues on this offensive line where I'm not confident in putting a rookie quarterback back there. I don't like Flacco being back there. He's 40, right? Like, the best bet would have been like Kenny Pickett, right? That would have been like the best bet. But this offensive line is a problem. But this wide receiver room is a equally bad problem. It might be worse than the offensive line, but you're not going to win a lot of games with a bad offensive line. Go ask Cincinnati. Go ask Cincinnati how that's working out for them. So we got to address this offensive line. But I'm going to say this like I've been saying since week one. Andrew Berry was in his freaking bag with this draft class. This is like becoming one of the best draft classes the Cleveland Browns has ever had. Like, ever. Like, I mean, like, probably like definitely since 99. They're starting to shape up like that already. I know it's been 3 games. But with Judkins, Fannin, Carson, Mason, and when they incorporate Dylan in there, you know, when they incorporate Dylan Sampson in there, he's something, right? Judkins is something. Fannin is a ball hawk. He is a player. He is a dog. He is a beast. He is going to be one of the best tight ends in the league. He does not go down easily. He fights for extra yards and has great ball security. Carson already has a high IQ on that field. Already has a high IQ on that field. And I've been saying to myself, what happened to these linebackers throughout the league? Carson is looking like an old school linebacker. I'm talking about and I'm not comparing, let me say this now. I'm not comparing him to these guys, but I'm comparing his intensity and his football IQ to these guys, right? Like a Brian Urlacher or Patrick Willis or a Luke Kuechly or a Ray Lewis type of linebacker, like just a guy that just goes and gets it, is not afraid to make the plays, is reading the plays down to a T. Sometimes it's like he's in their huddle, right? Is not the quick. He is explosive off the line, and he makes clean plays, clean tackles. Carson Swayzinger is easily the best, like, defensive player we got on this team, right? And that's crazy to say because of 3 games in, but he's been not named Myles Garrett. Obviously not named Myles Garrett, right? Like, there's some guys that where it's like, I'm not in that conversation as like Carson being better than the other. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, like those are the 2 that are like, we already know you guys are here and everybody else right here, right? Even though we got some great guys on this defense. But Carson is starting to put himself already in that category as one of the best defensive players on this team. I think he is one of the best defensive players on this team. He has shown it game in and game out. Even when he's not making the quote-unquote stat sheet plays, he's still making plays that disrupts the opposing offense. I am so high on Carson Swayzinger. So high on him. And he's only going to get better. We see it's like Carson's been playing in this league for 3-4 years. And he's only been playing in this league for 3 games. So just imagine when he gets seasoned. Just imagine when JOK gets back. Imagine Owusu Koromora comes back. And really, because Carson is playing so good, it's causing Devin Bush to play so good. This is a good linebacking group. This is a good This is a great front 7 core. This is a great front 7 core with Mason, and when Michael Hall gets back, and Carson and Devin Bush and Alex Wright and Isaiah McGuire. I don't know why I struggle on this last name. Just with those guys that just maybe they're not making the stat sheet plays, but they're plugging up running lanes. Maybe they're not making the plays that gets everybody attention, but they're making the plays to execute on defense. They're doing their job. Plain and simple. Are there a lot of you can barely find a Myles Garrett, right? But everybody knows their role. Everybody knows what to do. Everybody hits it with a lot of focus and intensity. And this front seven is amazing. Our corners, our defensive backs are good. Delpit, Greg, Denzel, Rashawn Hickman. Like, this defense from top to bottom is like, bam, one after another, and they have depth. They have depth. I know Harden had that pass interference call, but he played a good game, covering the nickel. This defense is top tier. There's no doubt about it. The issue that the Browns have is we don't have a number one. We don't have an offensive line. So whatever needs to be done, whether it's at the trade deadline or if it's at the offseason, is address the offensive side of the ball. I think defense is good. I don't think we have a lot of expiring contracts. So we're good on that end, right? So there's no issue over there. It's no issue over there. I think coaching is an issue just because, like, some of the decisions that Kevin Stefanski made, like, there was some things that Stefanski made, like, we shouldn't even have won this game, right? This was an anomaly win. It was an ugly anomaly win. Like, this is a win that we play like this against Detroit. We're not winning this game. I was surprised we won this game against the Packers. I predicted that we was going to win, but I'm surprised that we won this game against the Packers. So there is that anomaly factor into this. How much of this do we carry into the game against Detroit? That is to be decided. But we're playing against another top 10 team, in my opinion. We're basing this strictly off of this channel's rankings. We're playing against a top 10 team next week. So let's see what happens. But I don't think you can have a performance like this against another top 10 team. We played 3 top 10 teams. We played the Ravens. We beat the Packers. We played another top 10 team. So I don't know how many of these performances that you got against these teams, but I'm pretty sure the Lions ain't going to do that. But any given Sunday. Green Bay Packers stat line: Jordan Love, 18 for 25, 183 yards, a touchdown, that key interception against Grant Delpit. Josh Jacobs, 16 carries, 30 yards against this defense. No running back has gotten 45 yards on this defense. None whatsoever. Only one quarterback threw for over 200 yards against this defense. That was Lamar Jackson last week. Matt Golden, 4 carries, 52 yards. 4 catches, 52 yards. Josh Jacobs, 5 catches, 44 yards. Fitzpatrick had that touchdown, 2 catches, 12 yards. And McManus had the blocked field goal. Let's go over the scores, the afternoon scores now. I don't think I did mention that the Panthers put belt to ass on the Atlanta Falcons, 30-0. Let's see, late afternoon game. San Francisco 49ers got a win against the Arizona Cardinals, 16-15. The Seattle Seahawks put belt to ass to the New Orleans Saints, 44-13. The LA Chargers, we was just saying that was up 20-17. The LA Chargers, 20-13. The LA Chargers put up 10 points and was able to win 20-23. Actually missed that talking to you guys. The last 2 scoring plays, Justin Herbert completed a down pass to Keenan Allen, and then Dicker hit a 43-yard game-winning field goal. Herbert is balling out. He's making his case for MVP, and I remember going, hey, Herbert's a little bit overrated. He's shutting everybody up with that so far. Sunday night game is going to be the New York Giants and the Kansas City Chiefs. I had the Kansas City Chiefs winning that game. And the Monday night game is the Detroit Lions versus the Baltimore Ravens. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go over Kevin Stefanski's Post game victory. We'll go over his press conference, which is about 10 minutes long. We're gonna pause in between to review it. Let's get this chat up. Let me know what y'all thought about this game. Thought about the league in general. About this week in general. We had a lot of comebacks. We had a lot of special teams make a lot of special plays. We started with our block field goal. That Philadelphia got a block field goal to end their game, and then the Jets had got a field goal as well. I had got a block field goal. So let's go in and let's go over this. Fair use. I always say fair use, so this don't get copyright or anything like that. We're reviewing and reacting for educational purposes. So fair use, fair use, fair use, fair use. Let's go ahead and hit that screen share. We're going to go victory speech first, and then we're also going to go.
How about that team win? Yeah. Guys, how lucky are we? How lucky are we to play the greatest team sport there is? And we know this. We need everybody. We need the offense. We need the defense. We need the special teams, and that's what makes us a team. I told you last week there's a good team lurking here, right? That was a good team you just beat because we stuck together. We stuck together like we always do. I could give out, and I will give out a lot of game balls, but I'm going to give out a few right now, okay? Yeah. I'm going to start right here, okay? There's so many things I love about football, okay? What I love is when guys give you everything they got, everything. Joel Bitonio didn't have to play in this game, okay? He could barely walk, and he said, I will be there for my teammates.
Joe Bitonio is a legend. I love Joe Bitonio, and understand, like, when I talk about Joe Bitonio, I'm just talking about just like strictly his age, right? Because like Stefan said, Joe Bitonio's 35, right? So there's not a lot left in Joe Bitonio, but Joe Bitonio's number will be in the rafters. And if the Hall of Fame selection committee knew what they were doing, Joe Bitonio should be a Hall of Famer. Really though, I don't know. He don't got that much love naturally as Joe Thomas did, but Joe Bitonio is just as great of an all-time guard as anybody else in league history. I do believe Joe Bitonio should be a Hall of Famer. Joe Bitonio is one of those guys on this offensive line that is not a problem on this offensive line. It's just that he's going to be retiring soon in the next year or two. And even if so, I think he has an expiring contract anyway. But I love Joe Bitonio, and glad that he got that game ball.
Yeah. Next ball. How about number 10 running that? That's the first touchdown for Q. Congratulations. Yeah. Okay. Hey, this team has great leadership. We needed a play in the worst way. One of our leaders, number 9, stood up and said, the birthday boy said, I'm there for my team. Yes, sir. Okay. Complimentary football. We got to stop on defense. We needed one. I looked at him, and he knew it was coming. Number 93, another field goal. Everybody. Andre Schmidt has been through. Andre, guys, as you know, Andre's been through a lot. All right, you've been through a lot. We got your back. And I know who's watching that field goal go through. That's your mom. Congratulations. We know this is a long season. You navigate these ups and downs, but we got a chance because we're together. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes!
Gotta love it. Love seeing the locker room like that. Love seeing these guys root on like that. It's good to see a victory for once, man. And the Browns do snap an 8-game losing streak dating back to last year. So this was huge, right? And now we can sit back and say they're 4-21 in the last 22 games. So hopefully the wins start coming back. But shout out to the Browns. And again, Andre Schmidt took a lot of, like, we don't know his personal life. Obviously, nobody knows these football players' personal life unless you know him personally. But Schmidt delivered. Again, Schmidt delivered when it mattered the most. So shout out to him and kudos to Schmidt for hitting that game-winning field goal. Now let's go over Kevin Stefanski's press conference. as well. That's about 10 minutes long, pausing here and there. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
Okay, obviously really proud of that football feeding off of each other. Was not always easy. And listen, that's a great football team on the other side. I have a ton of respect for Coach LaFleur and that group. That's a great team. And we battled to the end and made those plays when we needed to, and just fed off of each other and complimented each other. And we get that big takeaway from Grant, sets us up. We get a big from Q early. We get a stop. We get a block from Shelby. So it was just everybody. And then Dre came through at the end. I'm really proud of that young man. I'm happy for that young man. He's been through a lot, and he came through. So it's this is the NFL. It's hard. You're going to go up against some tough teams and some tough matchups, and you're going to have to fight, scratch, and claw. And I thought our team did that today. With that, I'll take any questions.
I guess all those compliments paid off during the week, huh?
Apparently so. Made a point of it this week. I mean, that's football 101. We know that. We have to play that way every single week. But I think you saw there in that fourth quarter, our defense needed to get stops, and they got stops. And that was a huge part of that game.
Coach, can you guys talk about the coming off the field with your fist pumping?
I don't remember. Yeah. For me, I get to watch this team work. I get to watch these coaches work. And when you don't get the results you want in the first couple, you want it for them. I wanted that ball to go uprights for Andre. I wanted that team to fight to the last second in this case and come away with a win, because they deserve it based on how hard they work.
Now, I will say this as well. This is something I've been noticing about Stefanski over the last couple of years. Stefanski's been a lot more emotions over like the last year and a half. Like, if you guys remember when Stefanski first came in, he was calm, cool, collective. We won, he was calm, cool, collective. We lost, he's calm, cool, collective. And he still is that he's finally been out of that shell, right? Like, he's still calm, cool, collective, but now you're starting to see Stefanski like argue with referees more, starting to like get up referees more and understanding why things happen and showing that he used to just like let it go and then talk about it later in the week. Or if he says something, he would just nod his head and and it was kind of like it is what it is type of ordeal. But especially on that Aaron Jones fumble, you really saw that Stefanski thought we had recovered the ball, right? And he absolutely, like, by Kevin Stefanski standards, blew his lid off, like, when he found out that the Packers got the ball back. And like, that's what you want to see from your coach, right? We didn't see that a lot with Baltimore last week, but we've been seeing that more and more. We saw that with Cincinnati a little bit. And before anybody come in and attack me and go, well, you were saying Stefanski should lose his job, this, that, and the third. The way this team has been performing lately, yeah, I would say fire Stefanski, right? I'm still on the Stefanski, especially if we have a bad season, right? With this talented team. I'm still on the Stefanski needs to go or train right now, right? The last time I hopped off of it, it burned right in my face. Pause. So he's been showing a lot more intensity, and I will give Kevin Stefanski that credit.
How important is it to get a win early? I mean, not let week after week work there.
Yeah, I think I'll tell you, Chris, in the NFL, you better put the blinders on, because this win today won't matter next week. And whoever we're playing next week, they don't care what we just did. It's how the NFL happens every week. It comes at you, and you have to move on. You got to put the blinders on. So obviously I'm winless. I know that, but I can't let that affect how I work. I can't let that affect how we get this team ready to play. And then ultimately we worry about these one-game seasons that we have.
How for Schmidt?
I'm sorry?
How bad do you think it got for Schmidt after that first week?
Yeah.
He went for a lot.
He's been through a lot in his life, I would tell you. And the kids come through.
Kevin, how confident were you that you could get the ball to David and get up to the line and spike it in enough time?
Well, I'm pretty confident because we've worked it. Now that's right at the cusp. We're going to make it onto a lot of training tapes this week in the NFL teams are going to say, can you do that in 12? And it's been done right around there, but you have to be great. Joe knew it. Dave knew it. All the guys knew it. So practice those looks. Typically, you say 15 seconds. I just had a lot of confidence in that group to get it done.
See, that right there was a ballsy play, ballsy call. And you can tell that they practice stuff like that. Like, yes, you will obviously an area will want like 15 seconds, maybe a little bit more. But the that was not kind of not being talked about here is and Njoku, not only did he make the catch, got a few yards, got to the middle of the field, right? But the thing that he did that a lot of players failed to do was he got the ball to the correct referee. There's a certain referee, I want to say it's the side judge, one of the side judges that come out and spots the ball, right? Or it might be the head referee. It's one of the two. But he got to the right referee. And that saved so much time. Instead of putting the ball on the field, right, and having the referee come up and then spot the ball, you hand the ball to the referee. Like, you go to the spot, hand the ball to the referee so the referee can, because the referee has to touch the ball in order for the ball to be officially spotted. Referee touch the ball, get the spike off, leave 2 seconds left. That was a high football IQ play. Cool.
And how much, like, what more can you say about this defense, especially
Not
kind
much.
of holding things down for 3 quarters? I mean, Joe even said last week, like, he compared this defense to some of these really, really great Ravens defenses that he played with that first.
Yeah. I think our defense is playing at a high level, and what I love about our defense is how we play as much as what we do, and the schemes we play. Just watch us play. Watch our guys come off the ball. Watch them run to the ball. Watch them celebrate with each other. That's an infectious group over there.
Now, this defense, it didn't show a lot last year. I know we had injuries on defense. We had a lot of issues on defense, especially at defense line, which, again, Andrew Berry and Stefanski, right? This defense is particularly this front seven, like I said earlier, is one of the best in the league. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind about it. Our corners, our safeties, our defensive back room is good. But our defensive line, our linebackers, the linebacker room, the defensive line room, that group right there is top notch, like extremely top notch. And it does help that you got a guy like Myles Garrett to be on your defense as well. The one thing that I kind of want them to address a little bit is, when the Packers are down at the 2-yard line, why wasn't Garrett in the game those first 3 plays? And imagine they wanted to give him some rest, but you got somebody against the ropes. I don't get why they had him out there like that. And I will also say this about this defense. Coordinators matter, because, like I said, despite last year being not a good year for the defense, having a defensive coordinator like Jim Schwartz that holds accountable and that gets the best out of his talent and has like these amazing schemes, right? It's hard to find. And, God forbid if Jim Schwartz were to go, if Stefanski got fired, or if there was a coaching change, or Jim Schwartz decided to go to another team, that'd be a major loss for the Cleveland Browns.
Can you talk close to pulling Flacco?
No.
Talk about
With Joe Flacco, would you say that the fact that he was without 2 starting tackles, did that have something to do? It was tough sledding for him, obviously.
Yeah,
most of the game.
that's a great defense. I'm confident in saying that's a great defense, and those 2 edge rushers are outstanding. And then we had injuries early to our tackles, and we're without Jack going into this game, so they made life really hard. Our guys, but to be able to play did as a football team, I thought was really impressive.
I love the way.
And that's another thing too. Like, Conklin and DeJuan Jones, our 2 tackles, they're not available. They're just not available. Like, they're good, but they're not available. And that's an issue that needs to be addressed this offseason. But I thought overall, as much flack as I give the defense, especially like with certain things, I will give credit where credit is due, and I will applaud the fact, especially with Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons being like the second best in the league behind Myles Garrett, maybe even third, behind Garrett and Henderson. With the fact that Parsons wasn't able to make game-changing contribution in this. It's a phenomenal job by the Cleveland Browns in that offensive line.
You guys on Micah Parsons, he didn't seem to make a lot of noise.
He was making noise, Jeff. He was around the quarterback. If he's not getting a sack, I get it, but he's pressuring. He's a great one.
And obviously, like, and I think I pointed that out earlier as well. Like, he was getting pressure. I think he had like 3-4 pressures, which is a lot, right? Considering how great Micah Parsons is, considering the fact that I don't even think Parsons had a sack in this game. I'm gonna check the stat line right now. I don't think Parsons had a sack in this game. Let me see. Where's Micah at? There we go. Yeah, Micah didn't have a sack in this game. He had to. That's a win. That is a win for this offense. Was Micah making noise? Yeah, it's Micah Parsons. It's just like same way with Myles Garrett. Like, if he doesn't get it, yeah, he's gonna make a ton of noise. But if guys like Henderson, Crosby, Garrett, Watts, Parsons, like your top, to me, in my opinion, the 5 edge rushers in this league, if you can contain them for 2 tackles, couple of pressures here and there, and no sacks, to me, that's a win in my book for any offensive.
Through after all the woes that you guys have had, all the injuries that you guys have had, how big was that for everybody?
Yeah, that was huge. Really proud of the effort from that group. We want to play ball, and to come through with a huge block. I think Shelby got it right, which was in his career. So Shelby got one, and then to hit that kick at the end. That's it's great for that group.
What about Jenkins jump starting that?
Yeah, it was awesome. He's a volume runner. We knew that he gets better as he gets his first touchdown, which I'm excited for him. But he's only going to get better.
Shelby somehow finding a way to get his hands on balls the way he does.
He's always been able to. I mean, bats balls on passes. He bats balls on. Or he blocks field goals. He's always done it. He has a great feel for it. I want to say Vikings in 19. He had an interception versus us. Like he's very aware of that football. And he's just got great anticipation.
How coachable is that versus just sort of innate sense of?
It's innate. Yeah, that's something that he's been
straight up
blessed with.
Did you sense on the sidelines that your team, even when you were down and it seemed almost hopeless to be able to come back, did you sense that they had a resolve? I mean, was there stuff going on that made you?
We've talked about that, Mary Kay. We've talked about it as a team. We know what these seasons are like. We know there's ups and downs that you got to navigate the NFL, and our guys have confidence in each other.
Kevin, I hear you say that it's on to next week, on to Detroit.
Yeah.
But can't this happen for your players?
Yeah, momentum's important. Don't get me wrong, but you have to build this. And I think for us, well, trust me, I'll enjoy it, Jeff. Don't worry. But tomorrow we got to move on. Tomorrow you got to watch this tape and find a way to get better, and then you have to move on. You got a big game next week.
Yeah, that's again, like I said earlier. This is a good win. Should be celebrated. It was ugly, but it was good, and it should be celebrated. The thing is, they had to get better. You cannot play like this in Detroit. You cannot play like this against Detroit. You can't play how you played in the first 3 games outside of this fourth quarter of the week like that against the Detroit. Like, Detroit will carve you up if you do something like that.
Kevin, at no point, why did you not consider pulling Flacco to give the team a spark?
Yeah, I'm just focusing on doing what I think is best for the team.
Because he's not gun-ho like us. And this is one thing I've been agreeing with Stefanski. It's kind of crazy. I've been gun-ho about Schmidt and Stefanski sometimes, but like I'm not gun-ho about Flacco. And it's because this team is not ready for a rookie quarterback. Like, you see what's in Tennessee with Cam Ward. Like, Cam Ward is doing his absolute best with chicken scraps, right? Like, you don't want that from Gabriel. You don't want that from Shedeur. It's different with the Titans because Titans don't have a Joe Flacco or an equivalent of a Joe Flacco. And Cam Ward's the first overall pick. But if you're sitting back and looking at Dylan Gabriel, who's a 3rd round pick, Shedeur, who's a 5th round pick, and this is not against the whole Shedeur thing, blown out of proportion because of where he was supposed to land and the whole 9. It's done and over with. I don't want to hear about, well, he's not getting reps with this or this. He's a 5th-round draft pick. It happens to most 5th-round draft picks, right? I don't hear people complaining about Quinn Ewers down in Miami. But the fact that ride with Flacco as long as you can, cool. If you're trying to make the playoffs, maybe consider it. But even then, I would say keep Flacco in there. It's just that we have to find ways to make Flacco as he can. And we have to find ways to exacerbate and accentuate Flacco's strength. Like I said, these play action rollouts is not going to do it with Flacco. Like I said, we'll probably work with Gabriel. It damn sure will work with Shedeur. But keeping Flacco out there and not being gun-ho about, Flacco hitting the bench, especially behind his offensive line, especially the fact that we don't have a true number 1. We don't even have a true number 2 wide receivers. We have our tight ends, but there is a reason why I am like, keep for as long as possible. I want to see Flacco get killed out there? No. But is he our best option scenario that we in? Yes. Here's the thing that everybody got to start talking about too. When does Deshaun Watson come into play? When does the Deshaun Watson card come into factor? And we're forgetting about that or don't want to think about that, but we also got to think about that too.
Is there any update on Dewan?
No update. We'll get an MRI.
Explain on the replay fumble.
Yes. So I think the big thing there is we need them to call that a fumble recovery by us. They did not feel like there was enough video information to call the recovery by us. So it's clearly a fumble. I need them in the moment to see that it's a fumble, give us the football, because it's just too hard when the ball's in a pile to say definitively who comes away with it. It has to be a clear recovery. Anytime it gets in a pile, it's really rare if they see the fumble on the front end.
Why DeWine did right tackle?
Yeah, Jack was obviously battling. Just felt like that was what was best for both DeWine and Cornelius.
And then the chop block they called when you got in the goal.
Was it a good call? Okay. I had people in my ear saying it was a bad call. Yeah.
They just said it was the right call. I mean,
who's they?
Right.
Yeah, he said it was a good call. Yeah.
Even though.
Yeah, and the chop block, the coaching staff is going to say bad call, right? But it was the correct call. Tell her you can't go at or below the knees. Like that block is not. And I know people complain about, well, that doesn't mean that we're playing bad football or football's getting soft. But y'all got to remember, like, a lot of people's legs were getting taken out by these chop block calls, right? Or by these chop blocks. So it is a good thing that that this is a rule, is saving people's legs. And it was a good call by the referees. And it
was a tough game for Joe in the offense. You're sticking with Joe.
When you don't score, really move the ball that great until the last 4 minutes.
Yeah.
What changed? I know there are 2 quick runs, but what felt like it changed?
The field position. Part of playing complementary football is setting our offense up on short fields by taking it away or making a great play on special teams, and where you get a long run like Q, a couple runs where then you're moving the ball. But I thought just started to play a little bit more complementary.
Do you think your team can finally kind of just take a breath now after winning a game like this?
Listen, again, just to go back, the NFL is, you can't ride the roller coaster. It's too long of a season. You can't ride the ups and downs like that. For us, we focus on what's in front of us. Ride that roller coaster, and certainly I did when I was a young kid, or a fan, I should say. And but for us, it really doesn't serve you well to last week or 2 weeks ago. It doesn't help us. So we're so focused and worry about what's right in front of us.
And what about Joel being able to fight?
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, I gave Joel a game ball in there. I can't say enough about him, the football player, the person. He was battling. He was not feeling good. He wasn't battled, and that's Joel Bitonio for you.
When you're watching him work out, are you saying, "Oh, he's okay"? I know you talked to him.
Yeah.
Then what does he kind of say as you walk to the locker room?
Yeah, I'll let him share probably, Scott, but he knew he wanted to be out there for his team.
How fun was it for you to see how happy and excited the fans were? It's the 40th anniversary of the dog pound.
Yeah.
I mean, that
was awesome for me, just to catch up with Ernest Biner. I didn't see Bernie, but I texted with Bernie, had Hanford Dixon break the team down and just tell the team that the history that we have in this place. And I get to use the dog mentality so much. It's really what we've branded our dog mentality. And, Coach Schwartz has a great line that hungry dogs run faster. And all of that is born right out of Hanford. So unbelievable history there. And it was awesome having those guys.
Good.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so that's the Fancy's press conference, 40th anniversary for the Dog Pound, and good win. Dog Pound was going crazy, fans going crazy towards the end, type of win, and the Alpha Dog uniforms on top of that. Good, all the way around. Again, the Cleveland Browns win 13-10. Power rankings. There's going to be a lot of shifting in the power rankings. I believe we'll find out on Wednesday. Again, Wednesday, or it's usually when I record it, it'll probably be up either Wednesday night or Thursday afternoon. I'm trying to find the schedule on that. It's probably going to start being uploaded on Thursday at 12 p.m. or around noon. For the rankings. So please go check that out. We're on the road to 100 subscribers. We have 85. So we're 15 subscribers to go. This is the third edition of the Browns live broadcast, live review. And we're 3 down. We got 14 more to go. And we got the Detroit Lions next week. So that's going to be another tough game, another top 10 team coming in as we face against them. Again, this is Tyrell from the Nosebleeds. Thank you all for watching, for tuning in, even if it was for a brief moment to check it out. Let's see. Jeffrey said, I thought the offense looked a little better because we were getting more plays in the middle of the field. Yes, we were. And that was the issue that Stefanski wanted to address, was getting plays in the middle of the field. But again, like I said, we gotta address the offensive line. And like I said, Bitonio, barely walk into playing the best that he can play. It does kind of reminds me of Joe Thomas towards the end. So, Joe Thomas used to have that a lot, where he couldn't walk throughout the week, but was out there playing. And we got the win. So Browns get their first win of the year, 13-10. And this is going to be it for our third edition of the reviews for this game. We'll be back here on Sunday. Power rankings. Thursday, 12 noon. Subscribe. Hit that post notification bell so you can be the first ones to get in there and watch the power rankings and predictions for week 4. And I just thought of that on the fly. Like, might as well make it Thursdays at noon. Record it on Wednesday nights and upload it, and it'll be up and ready to go at Thursday around noon. So we're here. We're gonna do that. Power rankings. And it's almost time for the state of the channel address, which is coming up. It's already been another month, which is crazy. So again, road to 100 subscribers. We're at 85. Please like, please share, please comment, please subscribe. And the social medias are coming. They are coming for sure. We'll start be sharing those as well, so you guys can follow for those. And that's about it. So Browns win 13-10. This is Tyrell from the Nosebleeds saying thank you all for watching. See you next time.